are you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty well. It's the last day of the tour, so we've been on the road with Solefald for two weeks now, playing in France, Germany, Holland, Belgium today, Hungary, Italy. So we're all kind of exhausted and our voices are a bit sort of worn out, but you know, the atmosphere is pretty good and we're happy to be back on the road again. Our last tour was, as you may know, 15 years ago, so it's been some time.
And so 2 questions. What made you stop back then? And why did you decide to come back now? Live, I mean.
We did one tour with Solefald after the first album. We were like 20 years old and playing in Switzerland, Austria and Germany with Tristania and Haggard back then, 1998. I got accepted at the Sorbonne University in Paris and left Norway to study because I wanted to become a philosopher. And Lars at the same time, he joined Borknagar, so he got to play live with Borknagar. And those two things combined, my having a study and then a career as a writer abroad, and Lars living in Oslo with his job and now his family, made everything complicated. So it became the norm that Solefald we don't play live, and we got a request from In Vain that they be our backing band for a few festivals on this tour, and I was very excited because I always wanted Solefald to go on stage, but I didn't have the infrastructure or the surplus energy needed in order to achieve it. So when I got the offer, I gladly accepted because it made it possible for us to be on stage again.
But still, so you had your own lives, each of you two. But still, you managed to keep Solefald alive. Was it ever difficult to keep on releasing albums?
No, not really, because Solefald has never been about money or about image, as you can tell by looking at our photos. It makes me laugh to look at the old photos. But we always made the music out of friendship. So Lars is my best friend, and he's been so for 18 years. We have a very sort of deep personal understanding and friendship. So the music that comes out of Solefald is also something more than just two people writing music together. It's an exchange also on a spiritual level, psychological, social, spiritual level. And I think that is very much mirrored in the music, because at times it is tragic and then all of a sudden it becomes humorous. It becomes at times even joyful and then all of a sudden very sad and very violent again. And it's always been like this, and I think we can make pop, rock music, maybe even some jazz stuff, and you will still recognize the sound, because it would still sound like Solefald. That's the uniqueness, as I see it, of our band, that we're two composers writing with Lars with the keys and I write with the guitar. That's where it all begins, and we lay out the sketches for the songs, and then we add the layers in the studio with my poems, lyrics, Lars's voices, lots of orchestrations, even programmings, guitars, bass, etc. So it's a long creative cycle.
And about the tours, is it a one-time thing? Because you started for festivals, you said, or do you plan on doing it more in the future?
I think we'll do more. I hope to do more tours in the future. It depends on of course, it's the basic thing. If we're losing money doing it, then it will be hard to do another tour. If it turns out that we are actually breaking even, that is having no expenses, we can go on tour again, because we are not in this for the money. I guess that will be proven by our discography, with titles like Pills Against the Agency Ills, or like Latin, French lyrics, you name it. We have hopes for another tour in 2014, when our new album Cosmopolis will be out.
And don't you have a book called Cosmopolis?
Yes, I do.
So, as it's, I haven't read it. Could you explain a bit what you're writing about?
Well, my bibliography is it's all unfortunately in Norwegian. I mean, none of it has been translated so far. I try to revitalize the old Norse mythology, the old myths and gods, even the heroes, and to cast them into our time. What happens if Odin would be sitting next to me, for example? What would the bus look like? Would he drink beer? Would he drink Fanta? It's a stupid question, but it's legitimate. That's what you do as a writer. You imagine all these scenarios, and if he left the bus and just started walking into Brussels, what would happen? Would he become like a beggar, like in Neil Gaiman's novel American Gods? That was a big influence to me. Would he become a salesman? Would he be a musician? All these questions are dealt with in my books. So I use the tradition as I'm part of the stream of tradition, if you like, but I try to make it in my own way, and I find it so enthusing to work with the old matter, because it makes my project so much more relevant also in the future, because there are timeless persona or persons in my books. My books are myths retold and recasted. So that is also true for the poetry. I try to develop the old rhythms of the Norse poetry. Eit, egg, often the use of alliteration and of half rhymes is that's also very common. So you will notice the rhythm at once, hopefully.
And so the new album will be based on the book you wrote? Or?
It will feature some of the poems from the book Cosmopolis, but at the same time Cosmopolis was a title that it's figured in my sketchbooks since probably 1996 or something. I have a pile like this big at home with sketchbooks, notebooks, different sizes and different inks, and there are song titles, album titles, projects that never happened, a big pile of ideas, and it's really about memetics, the cultural genes. The strong tend to survive, to replicate. And the meme Cosmopolis, the title, it's been with me for 18 years now. And so it made sense, as we wanted to do an album oriented towards world music in a black metal context, or at least in a metal context. I think we will leave for now the black out of it. So we've been thinking about this slogan like world music with black edges, because it will be a dark album, it will be Solefald, but at the same time it will be about our civilization, using instruments from different corners of the world, and hopefully we'll have a score of good guest musicians.
And you used to have side projects. Are they still active? Do you still work on them?
Yeah, I have Sturmgeist, which will have our it's actually a we, because I'll have helpers from Israel. Nir Nakov from Salem is playing the drums, and we'll also have guest performance on the guitar by Yosse Darman from Bartholomew's Night and Strange Ways from Jerusalem. It's the next Sturmgeist album will be called Zion, and is to be released in the fall of 2013. And then I also have a noise poetry project called Sturmgeist and the Fall of Rome, which is really me just raving about in a uniform, shouting my poetry at the top of my voice with two friends of me who they have a noise band from Oslo called Noise Star and the Fall of Rome. It's like melodic, epic noise. So, my side projects are moderately active. We'll put it like that.
Ok. Est-ce qu'il y a quelque chose d'autre que tu voudrais partager en français pour les gens qui regardent ça, qui sont francophones?
Oui, avec le plus grand plaisir. C'était formidable. Visiter la France hier pour la première fois avec Solefald. On a joué dans un petit club à Paris pour, je ne sais pas, 130 personnes, mais la salle elle était bourrée de monde et je fais mon premier crowdsurfing et j'ai failli m'accrocher avec le câble de micro aux lampes au plafond. C'était dingue. Et il y avait tellement de sueur, tellement de monde et j'ai continué à chanter Backpacker Baba comme j'espère comme rien n'était. Et cette énergie-là, évidemment, ça me donnait beaucoup envie de retourner à Paris avec Solefald. Parce que retenons que les paroles de Solefald et beaucoup aussi de la musique de Solefald a été écrite à Paris. Et les chansons comme The USA Don't Exist, Anti-City Strategy, etc. portent tous l'empreinte de Paul Verliot, par exemple, un penseur proprement parisien. Ce qui veut dire, ça c'est facile à oublier maintenant que j'habite à Berlin, en Allemagne, et que Lars habite à Oslo. Mais Solefald a aussi ce petit côté secret français. Voilà.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci à toi.